Hi friends, welcome to Hygge Yoga with Christine. I'm so glad that you came to your mat today. I have a great yoga sequence that will just allow for some wonderful deep stretching and just allowing yourself just to be present on your mat and engage with your breath and give some love and attention to your body. So if you're ready to get started, go ahead and create a quiet space for yourself, grab your mat, and let's begin our practice. Friends, once you've made your way to your mat, I invite you to find a seated, easy position. Perhaps you'll have your legs crossed in front of you. And just adjust as necessary just to feel comfortable in your space. And resting your wrists on your knees, let's lengthen that spine and lift that heart center. And just drop those shoulders back and away from the ears. We'll take a moment just to find our breath and our presence on the mat today. So I invite you to close your eyes if that feels good to you. And let's just start to turn our attention to our breath. Just noticing your breath right now. Not trying to regulate it, but just paying attention to the patterns of breathing. And little by little, I invite you to take longer inhalations in, allowing that expansion of the chest wall and of your lungs, feeling that prana, that energy enter into the body. And as you exhale, just start to slowly let go and release any thoughts that you might be holding on to that are no longer serving you. Or just start to release any tension that you're holding in your body. Taking one more inhalation in. And as we breathe, we allow our breath to both form us and inform us. And exhale, release. And if you'd like to take this moment to set an intention for your practice, I invite you to do so. Or perhaps just commit to yourself to being present during your time on the mat, to find gentleness in both the body and the mind. And now we'll slowly start to invite some movement into the neck with some nice big head circles in one direction. And just take it nice and slow, not rushing this movement, and just start to really release that tension that most of us hold on to in our necks. Big circles in one direction. And let's go ahead and we'll change directions to the other side. Honoring our breath as we invite movement in the body. And then we'll go ahead and we'll return to neutral position, and we'll continue that nice circular movement with our shoulders. So first we'll lift our shoulders up towards our ears and then allow them to fall back away from us. And really think about just exaggerating this movement. Feeling that release, that rotation of the shoulder joint. And then let's go ahead and we'll bring those shoulders forward, lifting them up towards the ears, bringing them forward and letting them fall down away from us. And one more time, lift those shoulders up on the inhale. And as you exhale, just allow them to come forward and down. And one more time, we're going to lift the shoulders up. This time we're just going to keep them there and just squeeze them close to our ears. Just squeeze, squeeze. Just feel that tension and take a big breath in. And a long, slow exhale, release as we allow those shoulders to drop away from the ears. And And we'll continue this circular movement, inviting more space into the body now as we have our hands on our knees. And let's just rotate at the waist here. Coming forward, bringing that chest down towards the ground and pushing our hands into our knees as we come back, and just let that spine, that belly button come towards the spine. And inhale, coming forward. And exhale, pushing back. And one more time, inhale, coming forward. And exhale, push back, and then we'll change directions. Inhale, coming forward. And exhale, push back. One more time, inhale forward. And this time on the exhale, we'll return to a neutral sitting position, lifting that heart center. And we'll continue just to invite some more deep stretching and lengthening of the neck and the shoulders as we allow this left ear to fall down towards the left shoulder. And we'll just start with that. And if you'd like to go a little bit deeper, you can bring your right fingers out to the side of your body, to the right side of the body. And as this left ear falls down towards the left shoulder, you can slowly start to walk those fingers away from you. This will allow you to really feel more lengthening on that whole right side of the neck. And just go to where it feels comfortable. If it's starting to be like, this is too much, then just back off. Just listen to your body, just honoring where you are at today. And just take one final inhalation in. And as you exhale, your head returns to midline. And go ahead and just release that hand from the right side of the mat. And now that left elbow is going to gently come down and make contact with the mat. And as we feel this point of contact here, we want to make sure that we're going to maintain the point of contact with our right sit bone. So try as much as possible just to keep equal weight in both sit bones. And inhale now, the right arm floats over the right ear, reaching over that to the left side of the mat. And now we're going to do that, feel a deep stretch all the way along the right side of the body in our right obliques. So inhale, lengthen and reach, and exhale, releasing and finding some softness. And you want to be mindful just to keep that right shoulder just a little bit internally rotated back. You don't want to allow it to collapse in front of you. So just gently, with just the micro adjustment, bring that right shoulder back and lengthen and reach with that right hand. Finding space in your breath. And now on our next exhale, we'll come back up, returning to midline. And now the right hand is going to float over to the left knee, left hand behind us for a gentle spinal twist, gazes over the left shoulder. And exhale, returning to midline. Now let's repeat that sequence on the other side. So now the right ear is going to fall down towards that right shoulder. And your left fingers are just going to make contact with the mat. And if you'd like, you can just slowly start to walk those fingers away from you. Just feeling now that lengthening and stretching on the whole left side of the neck and into the shoulder. And again, if you start to feel any discomfort, just back off. You want this to feel good, but you don't want this to feel uncomfortable for you. So maybe just close your eyes for a moment and just feel this lengthening. Just appreciate this attention that we're giving to our neck today. And now we'll return to midline, release the left fingers, and the right elbow now drops down to the mat, keeping that left sit bone grounded, and left arm floats up over above the left ear. Inhale and reach over to the right side of your mat. And perhaps on the exhale, you allow yourself just to go a little bit deeper into the stretch. Now feeling that wonderful deep stretch and lengthening on that left side of the body. Bringing that left shoulder back a little bit, not allowing it to collapse forward. Gaze can be in front of you, or it can be up towards the ceiling. And if you're lucky to be outside, it could be up towards the sky. And exhaling, release now. Coming back up and bringing that left hand now to the right knee. Right hand plants behind you, gaze follows, and we'll find that gentle rotation of that spine. Keeping your sit bones grounded, your spine nice and long, finding length. Giving space to your breath. And exhale. Let's come back to center now. And we'll uncross those legs and bring the soles of your feet together. And you can either have your feet further apart if that feels good, or bring them closer in towards you, allowing you to go a little bit deeper into the stretch. And we're going to do our bound angle pose. So again, finding our grounding on the mat, just making any adjustments as you need to. And just allow those knees to fall down as far as feels comfortable for you today. This is going to feel different for everybody. So again, just check in with yourself. And you can keep your hands on your knees. You can bring them in front of you. And wherever you're at, let's take a big inhalation in together. And if you'd like, on the exhale, you can just slowly start to lower down. Just a little bit forward. Gaze is just right in front of you. You might just keep your hands right on your feet. That might be as far as you want to go today. Maybe you'll place your hands on the floor and just start to just allow yourself just to go into the stretch. This is a great hip opening, pelvis, deep release stretch. And really think about folding as much as possible at the pelvis, at the hips, not collapsing that lower back. Releasing any tension you may be holding onto in your shoulders, in your neck, in your forehead. Just allowing your breath to ground you in your practice. And on the exhale, we'll lift that heart center. And we'll now put our legs into a nice V-shaped position for our saddle stretch. And just, you can have your legs far apart. You can have them closer together. Again, this is your practice and this is your body. So be mindful and just pay attention to what your body is asking for today. And now again, we'll take a nice inhalation in, lifting that heart center. And exhale, just slowly start to come forward again, just like we just did with our bound angle pose, but we're doing it now from a nice saddle stretch. And just come down as comfortably as you can, keeping your neck nice and long and soft. And inhale, just allow yourself just to really feel the nice deep stretch in the inner groin. Keeping your feet flexed, keeping your legs engaged. And maybe as you just stay here in this pose and just give yourself some patience with your body, you'll find that you can start to lower down just a little bit further. Maybe you want to close your eyes right now and just release on your exhale. Feeling your lungs expand with the breath and soften with the exhalation. And as we inhale, we're going to lift that heart center. And now right elbow is going to come down to meet the right leg on the inside of the right leg. And we're going to float that left arm up and over us, kind of like we did earlier, but now again from a saddle stretch. Keeping that left shoulder back, gaze is up towards the sky. And again now allowing us to feel that great stretch in the obliques, but also starting to work the lengthening of the right hamstring and of the pelvis. And let's exhale and come back up to center. And I invite you to now bring that left foot over to meet the inside of the right leg. And as we do that, we're going to kind of shift our positioning. So we're going to be squared and centered over this right leg. And play a little bit with where this left foot is. You can have it down along the right calf. You can bring it up a little bit closer towards the knee or even the thigh. If it starts to feel uncomfortable on your knees at all, please just lower that leg further, that foot further down the right leg. So just find what feels good for you today. And inhale, again, we'll lengthen, linking breath to movement. And exhale, slowly start to lower down over that right leg. Now, you may just make a little bit of movement towards your right leg, and that's absolutely fine. If you find that you can start to lower down, please do so if that's within your practice today. And wherever you're at, you're going to feel that nice lengthening of that back of the whole right leg. Feeling that deep stretch. And we're just going to stay here a moment, finding stillness in this pose. Listening to the sound of your breath. And perhaps you'll notice that you can start to go a little bit deeper, lowering a little bit further down from where you are at. And again, this is going to look different for everybody. That's the beauty of yoga, that it is a practice that looks different in every body and in each body at different times, depending on how you're feeling, what you're needing that day. And now we'll start to inhale, now lifting, releasing from the position, lifting that heart center up. And we're again going to go back to our full straddle pose. So bring that left leg back out where it was earlier. Just find your equal weight on your sit bones. And once again, we're just going to come forward to where we were earlier, allowing that chest, that heart center to just lower down towards the ground. And perhaps you'll notice that you can feel a little more openness and have a little more depth in this pose. I think it's always great to do one pose a few times in a practice because it feels different each time. And as your body starts to warm up and know what you're asking of it, it finds more space and more openness. It's the beauty of how our bodies respond to movement, and especially if you give it some patience and some love. It's amazing what the human body can do. On your next inhale, we'll lift that heart center and raise the chest away from the floor. And now the left elbow will come down on the inside of the left knee as that right arm floats up above us. Again, keeping those right sit bones grounded. And inhale, lengthen and reach. And as you exhale, maybe start to lower that right hand up a little bit closer to the left toes. And as you inhale now, we'll come back up to center and bring that right foot along the inside of the left leg. Again, adjusting our position so we're kind of squared over the left leg, and find a place of comfort for that right foot. And inhale, let's lengthen that spine. And exhale, slowly start to lower down, keeping this left foot flexed and active. And maybe just slowly start to work your way closer towards the mat. And again, wherever you're at, you'll feel the benefits of this pose, that nice lengthening of that left hamstring. And again, finding our breath informing our movement as we inhale and lengthen that spine, and exhale, slowly start to lower down. And on our next inhale, we're going to sit up. And we're going to release those legs and come to our seated staff pose. And from our seated staff pose, our Dandasana, let's inhale and lift that heart center. And perhaps you'll have a little bit of a microbend in your knees as we start to tilt from the hips and fold forward. Really, again, targeting those hamstrings. And if your knees are bent, if you have a microbend, as you start to lower, maybe just see if you can push those heels a little bit further away from you. And again, folding from the pelvis, not the lumbar spine, not the lower back. And gaze is between your legs down towards the mat, so keeping that neck nice and soft and long. And just allow yourself to settle in to your breath, settling into the pose. Perhaps your hands are along your legs, or maybe if it feels good and within your practice, you can grasp underneath your feet, bringing that heart center down to meet the thighs, the legs. And then inhale, let's come back and release, and we'll make our way down towards our mat. So slowly and with control, start to lower down vertebrae by vertebrae, engaging those core muscles. And just start to feel your mat support you, feel yourself grounded, bringing those shoulders back, tucking them, and allow your legs just to lengthen. And just take a moment to check in with yourself, see how you're feeling. On your next exhale, let's bring that right knee up to meet the chest, grasping the front of your calf as you give yourself a nice squeeze, feeling that hip flexion, keeping that left leg active and grounded. And from here, we'll go ahead and just start to grasp the outside of that right foot for a half happy baby pose. And again, as we gently bring this right knee down towards the mat, we'll continue to stay engaged with this left leg on the floor. Just finding your breath, finding space. As you start to just let your body soften into this pose, maybe you'll bring that right knee a little bit closer down towards the ground. And now we are going to drop this right ankle all the way down over the left thigh, and then almost as if we're doing a supine or a tree pose, but we're lying on our backs. We're just going to allow this whole right side of our pelvis and our knee just to kind of gently kind of open and find space. And feel your shoulders be heavy. Just feel your mat supporting you. we'll begin to invite some movement to this pose. So on your inhalation, with control, really engage this left leg, allowing the right leg just to be heavy on it, and start to bring that left leg up towards the ceiling. Engaging your core, keeping your lower back grounded on the mat. And exhale, release and lower. And one more time, inhale and lift that left leg up towards the sky. Inviting nice gentle movement into that right hip as we exhale, and with control and intention, lowering that left leg back down towards the mat. And we'll stay here for one more breath. Inhaling in. And exhale, release. And we'll take one inhalation in. And as we exhale now, bend that left knee, keeping your right foot where it is, and grasp behind the left thigh for a reverse pigeon pose. So you're going to anchor this right elbow on the crook of the right knee as you gently start to squeeze that left thigh towards the chest. Feeling that nice stretch on the right glute. And on our exhalation, our feet come back towards the mat, and the right arm now floats out to the right side of the mat for a supine spinal twist as our knees fall over towards the left, keeping the right shoulder grounded, gaze is soft. Perhaps you want to place your left hand on the outside of the right thigh. Maybe close your eyes for a moment. Feel that deep relaxation. And exhale, release. Feet come back down towards the mat. Extend that right leg now and hug that left thigh now towards the chest. Feeling now that nice flexion of the left groin and keeping your right leg grounded and right foot flexed. Big squeeze, big hug. And inhale in. And exhale, release now. Left hand will come to the outside of the left foot. And as it feels good for you, just start to lift and float that left foot up towards the ceiling as you gently bring that left knee down towards the mat for a half happy baby on the other side. Trying to keep your shoulders equally weighted. And as we exhale now, left ankle is going to come and rest on top of that right thigh, gently releasing that left knee down towards the mat. Again, as if we're doing a tree pose, lying down, and instead of having the left foot on the inside of the right thigh, it's going to be resting gently on top. And as you breathe, just allow yourself to really kind of release the left leg, allowing the right leg to support it. And now with control, we're going to engage that right leg and gently start to float that right leg up towards the ceiling. And exhale, lower down, keeping that lower back grounded on the mat. Really starting to engage that core also. And inhale one more time, right leg floats up. And And exhale, release. Now we'll start to bring that right thigh up towards the chest, grasping again behind the back of the right leg, resting that left elbow in the crook of the left knee, and gently just start to bring now that right thigh closer towards the chest, allowing ourselves to go deeper into that left hip and feeling that wonderful deep stretch of the left glute muscle. Inviting your breath to just innervate this pose. Noticing the sound of your breath. And if it feels good, just bring that right leg a little bit closer, allowing more openness in that left hip, that left pelvis. And now exhale, releasing that left hand out to the left side of the mat. Gaze follows, uncrossing your legs and allowing your knees to gently fall over towards the right for a nice spinal twist. Again, you can keep your hands, your right hand that is, on top of the left thigh, keeping your left shoulder on the mat. And exhale, release. Let's bring our feet back to the mat, just really feeling that contact of our toes and our heels on the mat. And we'll extend those legs in front of us now and just do one final full body stretch as our arms float up above us and lengthen all the way from our fingertips down to our toes. Nice big stretch, and inhale in and hold your breath for a moment, and exhale, release, just allowing your body to soften on the mat. And we'll float our hands down along our hips, tucking our shoulders underneath us and allowing our feet to just kind of fall away from us. And we'll just take a moment just to check in with ourselves and enjoy our final resting pose today, our Shavasana. Allowing our forehead and our jaw to be soft. Feeling the release in the shoulders all the way down to the fingertips, down through our torso, our thighs, all the way to our calves and our toes. And just take a moment to notice your breathing. Notice the rise and the fall of the abdomen. Perhaps returning to the intention that you set for yourself today, or commitment to be mindful and present during your practice. And now we'll just start to invite movement to our hands and our toes and allow our head just to rock back and forth, feeling softness in the neck. And then I invite you to just roll over onto your side into a fetal position. And just staying here for a moment before you have to go on with your day. And on the exhale, we'll push back up and come full circle to where we started our practice today. Just finding your seated, easy position. And once again, I invite you just to close your eyes and take one final inhalation in as your arms float up towards the ceiling and gaze follows. And exhale, hands to heart center. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice today. As always, I so appreciate the presence and the energy you bring to yourself and to the mat. I hope you enjoyed this practice and can feel the benefits of the wonderful stretching that you did. And of course, I'd be grateful if you feel like sharing this with friends or family. And I hope to see you again sometime soon. Namaste.